So moved.
I guess I'll second. We can do that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're going to move it to the full board for approval. Next up would be a discussion of end of year transfers and expenditures. And here's where things get a little more intricate. And Stacy and Dr. Cook, I'll probably rely on you to go through our projected deficits and available funds, and maybe a potential end of year purchases if we're able to come out in the black. So I will.
Yes, sure. Yeah, I'll start us off and then turn it over very quickly to Stacy. As you can see from the chart we provided, things are looking better now that we've had a return of funds from the town, and that's been official of $226,541. And then we have several items, kind of the priority list of what we would spend any remaining funds at the end of the year on if the opportunity arises. I would say, and certainly open for discussion, probably my preference of that would be the brown windows, because that had to be cut out of the project when we finalized prices for that. So that wouldn't happen until next summer, but there's a serious need for new windows at Brown School in certain areas, and that was the plan. But I will turn it over to Stacy to go over things in a little bit more detail.
Great, thank you, Craig. Can you all see my screen? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through the schedule so you can see where we started, from the end of our last meeting and where we are now. So this first column, this original projection, which says updated, can you all see it all right? Should I make it a little bigger? You're good? Okay. So we were looking at the last time we talked, it was a little bit different, and I did identify those areas. I know, Galen, sometimes you call me out on what I showed you last time, so I tried to get ahead of you this time.
Okay.
So this original column is pretty similar, but I did add in the building balances as of last week, and then we did find some additional transportation fuel money that was not on there last time. And then I added in the special ed reserve amount that that the town approved us all using towards special ed. So this top section here under this original column, these were our deficits that we're trying to fund, which I did also add the typical tuition. We're hoping that will become whole by the end of the year, but I would be remiss of excluding it at this point in time. So I added that there. So based on that, I have needs of about 523,000, and then all of the available funds under that of 667,000, which includes that 226. And then if you move over to the right, I'm just going to walk you through the last three columns. The special appropriation up at the top, it says 518, the third column in from the right. That's a 226. So basically I'm taking it out of the reserve fund and applying it towards a special ed deficit. Then this line item transfer, this will be going to the full Board of Ed on June 4th, but we wanted you all to see it and approve it. We're pretty much covering a little bit more, another 120 of the special ed deficit, 45,000 towards the shortage in the athletic program, and then 50,000 for the Brown architect shortage that we had talked about. And then down below in that same column, you could see where we're taking the funds from. So that will be the line item transfer that will be in your packet on June 4th. After doing all of that, the last column on the right, that is remaining what we believe we're going to need as of this point in time. The special ed number, that is still a work in progress. I reserve the right to say that may change a little bit, but this is best of what we know, what we knew back last time and what we're doing so far. So as of right now, we could potentially need another 62,000 to cover that deficit. But again, we're going to continue to monitor that and not move the money over until we need to. Again, the typical tuition, I'm gonna continue to watch that, and that could have changed. This was last week. And then the items in the middle, that's simply taking the original amount less what we line item transferred so far. So we still have about 222,000 available to not only cover those deficits up above, but also hopefully cover some of those items on the bottom. And I heard Dr. Cook say that 150 would be the first item that we would like to cover. But these other items were things that we've been talking about all along. Two of them were in the budget process. So if we do, find additional funds, we would hope that we can use them towards one of these other three items. I'm not sure if you have any
And-
questions on the schedule or for me.
And
Otherwise,
when's the earliest that we could determine whether or not those funds are available? Post closing the books or?
yeah, we go into July, and Galen, I'm sure you remember, we kind of email back and forth that, if you guys do approve for us to close out, without going, through the formal process, we'll go back and forth. So as funds do come up, I will let you know, and then we could decide. But if we have a potential plan as far as these items, then that's what Galen, you and I can focus
Yeah.
on moving forward.
Okay, thank you. And then in terms of the board, actually have our next meeting, full board meeting is June 4th. And then Dr. Cook, I don't have it in front of me. Do we know when the next meeting after that is, the board meeting? Before the close of the
18th, June 18th.
18th. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions or discussions on what Stacy presented?
I just have a question about the windows at Brown. Is that the whole school, Craig? Is it just in the new renovated wings? Can you give a little more details? I forget the details on that one.
It's the yeah, no, that's a great question. It's the bigger windows in front that are in the cafeteria area and that gym entrance area. And then some of the other, front entrances that are the seals have cracked, and so they're foggy.
Yeah.
And so I think it will be a nice real aesthetic upgrade, and then also energy efficient.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I have one more question. The hurdles,
You're welcome.
is that a replacement of existing hurdles, or is it new equipment? I know nothing about that.
Yes, that was something relatively new that came from the athletic department, who've tried to repair the hurdles that we have, and they've just kind of passed their useful life. And if they don't make it this time, he would be Chris would be put in the next year's budget. But it's just kind of they really got in bad shape quick. So yeah, just a replacement of existing ones.
Okay.
Great.
So if I can, just to clarify, a couple things. So the thought is today, if we can prioritize those items on the bottom, and I know Dr. Cook said the brown windows would be his first priority, but if we could prioritize those so that when, funds can certainly focus in that order with Galen. And then I do want to say there could be other line item transfers, things come in, invoices come up. So that will definitely be part of closing out the year, but I didn't want you to think that these would be the only line item transfers. We do try to clean up things by object. So that will happen, but these should be the big items that we'll want to prioritize and do if we can after any of those small cleaning up balances happen.
That's good. Well, I have a question. So, assuming there's about 220,000 left, and the windows, brown windows cost 150,000, leaving about 70,000. Does it make any sense at all? Can you make a partial order on the band uniforms, or is that just, it's an all or nothing thing?
The thought on the band uniforms was that we would look for ARPA funds I didn't want to leave that off the list because I think that's really a priority to get done this year and not have to bring it into another budget cycle. So we still think that that could happen. So I'm hopeful that we don't have to do it out of these funds, and we would know that probably in a couple weeks, right, Stacy?
Yeah, but I would say in June, we'll know. We're trying to clean up all the ARPA on the town side in June.
So would we then shift our priorities? Brown windows first, bridge furniture second, and athletics, the hurdles third, and roll the dice on the uniforms? I mean, I'm open to discussion. I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting one way or
Same here.
another.
I would just say if we could put the band uniforms second with the hope that
Okay.
we get them done, because if not, I would like to get them completed. I don't think anybody wants to talk about them anymore for another
Right.
10 years. So I think that, and they estimate, if we can do it this summer, they could probably bring it in around 75,000-80,000. So,
Okay.
the prices got better once they,
Okay.
refined the request. So I would put that just a second, and then the rest of your list in the order you had it.
Okay.
And then there is that last item too. We don't really have a amount, but this was architectural design, I guess, for some areas at Brown.
Yes.
Okay, so
And
that would,
that's
Okay.
different, that's different, Stacy, from what I see up top, the facilities Brown architect. Correct?
yes,
That's a different
that was,
base.
yes, this is over and above that.
Okay, this is specific to band art CTE.
Exactly. Those classrooms. So there's a nice band room that used to be used, for a middle school that has tiered levels, and
Yeah.
that's really not appropriate for a K-5 school. So we're hopeful that we can redesign that and look at the art room at the same time, as well as the CTE area.
Great. So Emily, would you agree with the priority of brown windows, number 1, band uniforms 2, bridge furniture 3, the hurdles 4, and then the band room design if available?
I would, my only concern about putting the architectural design, like that's sort of, is that unrelated to the renovate? Like, could we open as a K-5 school without that being done, Craig? The band CTE art modifications, or are we just thinking we maybe could find funds elsewhere for that?
We would have to find funds elsewhere to do the bulk of the work, depending on what the designs are. It could either be future CIP. I know we don't have that teed up, or end of the year funds in the future.
Okay, so but that does need to get done.
Well, we think, yeah, we really feel like that needs to be part of a future project soon.
Should that move up in the list then?
The only reason I didn't have it higher, Galen, is I just didn't have a price on it, and I didn't, so we could try and price that out, before the say the 4th.
I'm just thinking like in terms of the bridge furniture and the hurdles, it sounds like the architectural design might be more urgently pressing than those things.
Yeah.
That's my only question.
I would agree. I think I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, so maybe we pencil the band room CTE art as number 3 pending an estimate.
Yeah, we
early-
can,
early mid-June.
yeah. And if it comes in, we can revisit this, right? This isn't, if it comes in wacky or whatever.
Okay,
Okay. Because we would inform the full board, but we would not need their approval for this list. I mean, the third item of our agenda is to discuss, make a recommendation to authorize Finance Committee Chair, me, to close it out with Stacy. And we have at least to the 18th to do that. So I could just include this in the report, but we don't need board approval for it. And maybe by our next meeting, we'll have a better cost estimate on the band room CTE. And if not, we can still figure it out.
I'm comfortable with that.
Great, thank you.
So do we need to, Galen, make, as part of your report, the recommendation that you and Stacy close out the year? Or do we need to take action in this meeting?
Well, I didn't see it on the agenda for tomorrow night. So if we do need action from the board, we either have to add it or just wait till the 18th, and I'm unsure or open to either possibility. I mean,
No, the 4th.
The 4th, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's nothing on the 4th. There's just a motion to approve for the board to approve the $240,000 reduction.
Yes, Galen, I have this item on this finance committee agenda, just in case there isn't a chance for the finance committee to meet again moving forward before we close out the year, but I can certainly put the actual motion by the full board either on the meeting of the 4th, just to get it done as a formality, or save it for the 18th. Historically, we've done it in either meeting in June.
Craig, do you have a preference?
He disappeared.
Okay.
You may have left.
Yeah.
You can certainly
Or
touch
Zoe,
base.
or Stacy, do you have a preference? I mean,
I think part of the reason why we wanted it on this meeting is I do have a conflict for the June meeting for finance. I mean, I don't think there's any.
I think if we can do that for the 4th, that would be great.
okay, done.
Oh,
Right. Okay.
So that works for you, Stacy? That's better?
That does work, and I can certainly communicate with you. And once we do have that estimate for the architectural design, we can get that out to you as well. And I'll
Okay.
just keep you updated as things move along.
Okay, so then, Emily, should we make a motion to make a motion that the full board authorize the finance committee chair to close off the 2023-24 year with Stacy?
So moved.
All right. Second? Discussion? All in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Great. Motion passes.
Great.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, that was short but informative. Are there any further comments? Anything we missed? Something we need to discuss?
Just public comment if.
We lost our one and only person.
Oh,
There's
no,
one
there's.
other person on Zoom. Anyone on Zoom who would like to speak, please use the raise your hand feature. I think we're all set.
Okay. Well, we'd welcome any emails, comments afterwards. We'd try to respond to that. So, seeing as there are no public comments, are there any objections if I adjourn the meeting at, well, what time is it? 4:19.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Good luck, Craig.